What's happening, guys? Welcome to another video. We're on Summer Shreds episode 6. Today's date is the 21st of September 2020 and we're actually in week 15 now of my Summer Shreds. Started this all the way back in summer. 6th of June I decided to make a change. 8th of June 2020 I started my diet, and 15 weeks later we are here now. Now unfortunately I've been so busy at work training one-to-one clients. I've been extremely busy online that I haven't kept up to date with my series. So my last episode, Summer Shreds episode 5, was 6 weeks into my diet. So it's another 9 weeks now. Now the progress has been really good. I'm really happy with the progress, and I'm just slightly upset with myself that I haven't been able to post more. But it is what it is. So let's go over a few things. So on the 6th of June, my starting weight was 157 pounds in the morning, fasted, zero food, just get straight out of bed and weigh myself, no clothes on. And last week, when I've done my last check-in, exactly 14 weeks and 2 days into my diet, my morning fasted weight was 150 pounds. So I've lost 7 pounds in weight, and now once you see on pictures, you'll see that I've put on a considerable amount of muscle. So I've lost fat and I've put on muscle. But overall, I've lost 7 pounds in total. Now scale weight is not really a concern for me. I'm more interested in how I look visually. So the progress pictures and the progress videos are what I pay attention to. So since it's been such a long time, let's go back to my original video and check out my physique when I first started this on the 6th of June 2020. So this is my current condition, and it's pretty decent, to be fair. You know, on a tense, I've still got a six pack, holding a bit more fat, but it's lockdown and I'm making a lot of trips, extra trips to the kitchen, like most people at the moment. But I think it's time to get serious now. So Monday, diet starts. Today's Saturday, the 6th, I think, of June. In the morning, my weight was around 156, 157. I've just weighed myself now and I'm 159 pounds. 5'5", tall, 42 years old. And there we go. So from the front, I'm pretty lean, holding a bit of fat. When I tense my abs, I can see all 6. But like I said, I'm holding a bit of fat here. Most of my fat I'm holding at the back here on my long handles. So I've got quite a bit of fat here that needs to go. So start on Monday and do a diet plan, do a training plan, supplements, the whole lot. That was during summer lockdown, and ironically we might be heading into another lockdown now. So this is my latest check-in, which I did last week on Tuesday. So 14 weeks into the diet, 14 weeks and 2 days to be exact. Let's check that out now. So a massive difference in 14 weeks. I'm really happy with the progress I made. And like I said, unfortunately I couldn't bring you guys more regular updates. But if you follow me on Instagram, jav.iqbal.fitness, I do post on there regularly, pretty much every day, sometimes twice a day. So that is the best place to keep up to date with my progress going forward. Now in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about mindset. The kind of mindset that I used to make progress with my physique, and also the kind of mindset that I've been using throughout my life to get to where I am today. So, mindset. So, weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 were really good. I was really motivated, sticking to my diet 100%, doing my cardio, doing my training. And then week 7, week 8, week 9, I kind of had a bit of a lapse. So the training was still good. Weight training I love. It's like a hobby to me, so it's not really a job. So I love that. The training was really good. The cardio started slacking a bit in week 7, week 8 and week 9, and the diet did go downhill quite a lot. So a few junk meals I had here and there. I got the taste for the junk food, and then week 8 to week 9 I started eating quite a bit of junk. So up to week 6 mindset was perfect. Week 7, week 8, week 9 mindset was rubbish. I let myself down, I cheated on my diet, and I just wasn't very happy at the end of week 9. So I sat myself down, and this is what I do sometimes. When things are not going my way, I sit myself down, I write stuff out, what I did, why I did it, and I give myself a good talking to. So I sat myself down and I gave myself a good telling off, something along the lines of, what the hell are you doing? You've had a goal, you've done really well for 6 weeks, and now you're spoiling it. You spoiled it for 3 weeks. What is wrong with you? I think I used stronger words than that, but I'm not going to go into that now on YouTube. So I gave myself a really good telling off and sorted my head out, and then going forward, week 10 to now was perfect. My diet was on point, cardio I was banging out every day like I should have been, and the training was always good. So really it all starts here, guys, and that doesn't just apply to training, it applies to all forms of life as well. So whether it's business related, relationship related, just your general health, how you feel. If you start feeling miserable in your head, you're going to act miserable, and it's going to be a slippery slope downhill. So mindset is just so important. So basically I write a list down on a piece of paper. I'm really old school, so I write everything down. So why I started the diet in the first place, why I want to get into shape, what my goals are going forward, write all that down, and then whenever I see a dip in my mindset, I close my eyes and I just sit in a quiet room for about 5 minutes and think about those goals I had, the reasons why I started in the first place, and really fix up my head. And it really works. Honestly, it sounds like a simple idea, but it really works. So when I'm a bit hungry, when I'm tired, when I'm a bit fed up, I'll just shut my eyes, relax in a quiet room, and think about the goals that I've set myself, think about the reason why I've started this in the first place. And it really does help, guys, really does help. Definitely worth doing. And I visualize where I want to be in the set period. So visualize where I want to be in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, next year, 5 years time, and that sorts my head out. And like I said, it's important in all factors of life. And when I actually look back at my life, all the way back to when I was at college, mindset was everything. So just to give you an example, when I was 17, I was doing my A-levels, and my head was all over the place. I was just too busy chilling out with my friends. I didn't really study hard at all, even though I was a pretty clever kid. And because my mindset was off, I totally failed my A-levels. So I was doing maths, physics and chemistry, and I got a D in maths, an E in physics, and a U, which is, I think it's ungraded or unclassified in chemistry. And I'll never forget, I was walking down the corridor, my maths teacher came up to me and he just nodded at me. And he said, "What did you get?" And I said, "I got a D in maths." And he said, "You was at least a B student. You was at least a B student." So meaning that you really were an A grade student. And that look of disappointment that he gave me stuck with me. So the following year, something just clicked in my head. Head was right, mindset was on point, and I worked really hard that year for my A-levels in my retakes. All my friends had gone to university, and I just felt like I wasted a year. So studied really hard, and come the exams, I absolutely killed my exams. And this time around I got an A in maths, a B in physics, and a C in chemistry. I was quite disappointed with the C result in chemistry. I felt that I had a B. Must have been a very close, must probably missed a B by 1 or 2 points. And the same teacher, Mr. Ross, again I bumped into him. I said, "Sir, I got an A." And his response was, You should have got that last year, Javed. So you always knew how to bring me down. But yeah, mindset was right that year and absolutely killed it. Going forward, when I was at Aston University studying for my degree in pharmacy, again, bit of a lazy student. I never used to work, so the year 1, 2 and 3 hardly went to any lectures. The last 2 weeks of the year I used to just knuckle down and study hard, and I used to get through the exam. But in the 4th year, something again clicked in my head. Mindset was on point again, and I really killed that year, really studied hard, and I passed my degree pretty easily actually, considering the amount of effort that I put in the previous 3 years. So my pre-reg as a pharmacist, you do 4 years of a degree and then you do 1 year training, which is called pre-reg. Pre-reg, my head was on point, really killed that year, really worked hard, studied hard, and at the end of the pre-reg you do an exam, passed the exam with flying colours, and I was qualified pharmacist. So again, it's all up there guys, it's all up there. I know I'm talking to you from a bodybuilding point of view, but this applies to every factor in life. And I remember the first few years that I was working as a pharmacist, absolutely killed it. I was working flat out and I was just so focused. I didn't even need an alarm clock in the morning. My alarm was set for 7 a.m. and I should be up at 6:30, 6:45 without even the alarm going off. I was just ready for work, and I'll never forget my first paycheck. So I was a broke student, zero in the bank, absolutely zero in the bank. Pre-reg year, whatever I was earning, I was spending on food, car insurance, petrol, etc. So I didn't have much money. And then as soon as I qualified as a pharmacist, I worked for the first week and I earned £1,000. So I remember getting my first paycheck for £1,000. I thought, whoa, I'm rich. Absolutely crazy. And that kind of drove me to work my ass off for the next 15 years. So now I'm in a nice comfortable place where I can do a job that I actually enjoy, which is PTing, whether it's one-to-one or online. But the foundation for that was laid in the last 15 years. Now whilst I was working as a pharmacist, I was doing 50, 60, sometimes even 70 hours a week. Now I was always a fit and in shape guy. So in school I used to play a lot of cricket and football. I was always naturally strong. I always naturally had a lot of muscle. College I started doing a lot of kickboxing, well Thai boxing, and I started doing weight training. So I was always in shape. At university, again, excellent shape, really muscular. A lot of the guys used to look up to me. But when I started working as a pharmacist full time, started putting on body fat. I stopped eating clean, I stopped training properly, and when I hit 30 years old, I was starting to get overweight. I think I weighed about 12.5 stones when I hit 30. Hadn't trained weight training properly for 2 or 3 years, lost a lot of muscle, and my belly was popping out. So that's when I decided to go back into training. I started studying about bodybuilding again. I knew most of it already, but I just started recapping. I started reading books again, magazines, attending seminars. Then YouTube came along in the last 7-8 years. Started watching YouTube videos, started practicing what I learned on myself and on the people that I was coaching, and really put so much effort into learning everything that I could about training, about nutrition. So whenever I had some free time, I'd probably be watching a YouTube video, I'd be reading a magazine, or reading a bodybuilding book. So again, my mindset was right, and I put a lot of effort into learning everything that I could about diet, about nutrition, training plans, cardio routines, whether it's steady state cardio, HIIT cardio, to the point where I am now. Mindset, a strong mental focus on a subject that you're doing. Trying to be the best at that subject is going to get you places. And all these millionaires and billionaires that you see, they've got kind of a slightly addictive personality where when they focus on something, they put all the effort into that and they block everything else out. And it's kind of like OCD, but that's what it takes to get successful. And even training and nutrition, people think that I'm OCD when it comes to training, when it comes to nutrition, but that's what it takes to get into good shape. My family think that I'm crazy when I say no to family functions, when I don't want to eat out, when I go somewhere and I don't eat, or when I bring my food with me. But that's what it takes, that's the dedication that it takes. Now, you don't have to be like that all the time. It's just when you're on a strict diet. The vast majority of my clients do get days out where they can enjoy food with their family, with their friends. It doesn't have to be strict all the time. So, mindset is everything. That's the end of this video, and it's also the end of my summer shred series. Hope you guys really enjoyed the whole series. You've seen me from the start all the way 14 weeks later to where we are now, and you've seen the body transform as well. I've given you my training plan, I've given you my diet plan, I've covered cardio, all the factors that it takes to get into shape. I've tried to give you guys as much information as I could, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, share, subscribe. I am starting a new series now where I'm 6 weeks out from a bodybuilding show. I've just posted my first episode of that, which was a leg day, 6 weeks out from the NFM UK bodybuilding competition. I'm going to try and get one video out per week for that, leading up to the show and when I'm competing at the show as well. So I hope you guys follow along on that series. But apart from that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe guys. I'll see you in the next video.